You had the option when we landed in Atlanta to get off because it was going to be like an hour. I didn't want to deal with that. So I said to Marge, if you want to get off the plane, you go ahead. I'm staying right here and work crossword puzzles for an hour, and I'm not moving. I like the seat. Mm-hmm. You know, I'll be able to see the ocean and the coastline when we're going to, I don't want to, you know, I'm staying right where we're
Here
at.
I stand.
Here I stay.
To quote Luther, yes.
So we sat in the airport for an hour or so on the plane, and I never got off the plane and actually set foot on terra firma. But I wasn't flying either. I contend it's no different than if you drive through a state and say you're in the state. Because I was in a vehicle.
I'm going to rule with you because the vehicle was on the ground.
All right.
It was not airborne. What's the difference between a bus or, let's think about this, Bill. And here, when that stupid high school debate team, when they try giving you lip, all those snotty 16-year-old
little punks.
Yeah, when those punks try to... Ask them this.
All right.
If they were teenagers in Georgia, perhaps, if I may, implore some stereotypes. They may have been to a monster truck rally or two, where the vehicles sit off the ground probably higher than an aeroplane.
That's an excellent point.
And the tires are bigger than those of a 727.
I landed in a monster truck vehicle. Touchdown. I sat in my monster truck vehicle for a while. I'm in Georgia. That's it.
And the judges rule with Telfer. Oh, that didn't ding very well.
There we go. Oh, yeah. Okay, well, I'm not going to feel guilty about that, saying that anymore. I was in Georgia.
Cross off the big GA.
I absorbed nothing of Georgian culture. I had no peaches while I was there.
Pecans?
Yeah.
Pecans?
I had nothing like that. I did a crossword puzzle, a couple of them actually. Mm-hmm. And then I saw Georgia. See, I looked out the window. I could see Georgia. My vehicle was touching Georgia. And then we flew away.
Yeah.
Then we flew away to Florida.
That counts, yeah.
I think so.
Definitely.
Conclusive. So let's get back to I have a couple questions I want to ask. If Texas was not, if South Carolina has supplanted in this odyssey of visiting all 50 states, if it has supplanted Texas as being the state you've spent the least time in, mm-hmm. What was your time? What was that like? Why was Texas invoked at all? Like, what was your short time in Texas like?
We did actually spend the night there.
Oh, okay.
We did. This is going to impress.
See, it's more than I did in Georgia.
We didn't do any crosswords, though, so we may be back off the list.
I don't know.
We did the big Southwest loop. You know, like go out west, Colorado, mm-hmm. Utah, swing back around to Arizona, New Mexico. And again, you know, at that point, it's like, man, I don't ever want to go to Texas on purpose. Mm-hmm.
But you did spend the night.
Right, but coming back, you can, you know, you're coming from New Mexico, and you can cross through the Panhandle, the sticky-upy part on the map.
Right.
And that puts you right in Oklahoma, and then you can say, hey, we've been to Texas. We never have to go back.
So you actually spent the night in the Panhandle.
Yeah, so it just worked out. It was not the plan, but we stayed in Amarillo.
Oh, sure. That's up in the Panhandle.
Us as Amarillo, but Amarillo.
Amarillo, okay.
So I was like, okay, you know, hey, this is all right. It was a really, really, really chilly, rainy night, even though it was June. And so we get our hotel.
You don't associate Texas with being a chilly place at all.
No, and I think that even that part was... I thought it was supposed to be a drier part, but again, what do I know? And so we got our hotel, and we had noticed, like, a few blocks down or whatever, there's a Mexican or Tex-Mex restaurant. And we're like, oh, this is going to be great, you know, we love this. We get good Tex-Mex in Illinois, you know, this is going to be, like, off the charts. Awesome. And it's cold and rainy anyway, so we're like, oh, we're going to go in there and just, you know, lay it on, just, like, tortillas, cheese, you know, salsa, all these great peppers and things. And like nobody pays any attention to us. And we're like, okay, do we just have Yankee stamped on us or what?
Damn Yankees over there.
You know, and it's like, okay, so finally somebody comes over you take our order, and it's like forever, and I think part of it was even messed up and all this, but finally, and we're starving. Like, we did the just drive all day.
And this is an actual, like, regular
it's
private restaurant. It's not a chain.
No, it's not Taco Hell. It's not, it's not a chain, It's, we're thinking this is the real deal, And it was awful.
Oh.
It was awful. So actually, in one of my travel books, I mentioned that.
Wendy V, Lulu.com.
Now I gotta go to Lulu to see if I'm even still in there. They booted me.
Buy Wendy's books.
There's actually a place up in, can I say Door County?
Sure.
Door County.
We say Door County all the time. Door County's not undisclosed.
Okay.
We've disclosed Door County.
That's true. But a place that you guys have taken us to up there, that we've had, like, fajitas or enchiladas.
Oh,
that are out of this world.
Yeah.
I want to say, like, JJ's, but maybe.
JJ's. I think it is JJ's.
I knew it wasn't, like, QQ or something.
No, it was JJ's.
It had a better ring to it, J.
Yeah.
But that was always the irony, is like, wow, we go to Texas and we get this crummy, like, really Taco Bell would have been better. And then we go to Wisconsin,
Yeah, Wisconsin, where the real Texas food is.
Where the real, like
Tex-Mex.
Norwegian, German, Mexican culture is. The Swedish Mexicans, and it was phenomenal. So it's like,
I know, but that sounds so believable, though, because when you go to a place, it's really hit and miss. It's like coming. Not that I think of that if there being anything like Illinois cuisine.
God forbid.
But there's like Chicago has when you're gonna get deep dish pizza or Chicago dogs or
Polish
things that
or something,
stuff that Chicago or a beef sandwich, things that Chicago is famous for. It's hit and miss whether you're gonna, like, if you just go off the grid and you don't go to the places that are famous, you say, let's try this. Here's a little place, and we're in Chicago. They're going to have great pizza. You go there, horrible pizza, and you go, what's wrong? We're in Chicago. This should be great. They're the home of deep dish pizza. Well, everybody doesn't always do it right.
Yeah.
It's like there are places famous for being good, and that's really what it boils down to. There's plenty of places, big and small, that are crappy in every state, for every cuisine. Yeah. All cuisines are represented by lousy places. And I think that's what it boils down to. You guys just were unlucky when you hit Amarillo.
Yeah. But it's like you said, it wasn't a chain, and we're thinking, here we are.
Yeah, they really hit everything. You should go into a place like that with confidence. Oh, we're gonna be eating like kings here.
If I ever realize my dream and live in New Hampshire, I got my plan to make us wealthy, though.
Oh,
and
what's the plan?
That's going to be just open a Chicago-style pizzeria. Because all the pizza out there, they're like, this is the best pizza in New England. And it's like, oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's all flat, barely any ingredients. Matter of fact, there was one brochure. I've had all these, like, lists. It's ridiculous, to get stuff in the mail. And I just kind of drool over it and, like, open the magazine side. Oh, look at that center photo of the White Mountains, But there was this one picture, and it was really on the advertisement for the place to, like, really sell it. I mean, they were proud. And not only the pizza just looked so thin and wimpy, but connoisseurs or pizza snobs that we are, you could see in one corner of it the crust was actually burned. Like, they just, like, left it under the little heat warming lamp. And I've yet to have pizza as good anywhere but Northern Illinois, but... So I'm like, hey, that's my plan.
That's an excellent plan. Again, this show is turning out to be about your travels through the states, but I am fascinated by the whole concept of that you guys, just 10 years, and that may seem like long. A decade seems like a long time.
And actually, several of those we didn't cross off anything new.
Well, there you go. I mean, that you're going to have 50 under your belt in 10 years. At what point during that 10 years did you start to think, hey, maybe we can get to all 50? And did you always think of it in terms of 10 years? Like,
No,
did you have
no,
that
no,
as
no,
a deadline?
No. I mean, as a kid, I always thought, oh, it'd be great to go to every state. And we did a lot of camping and traveling, like you guys did. And it wasn't a goal or any kind of time thing. I guess probably, 2 years in or so, we had traveled enough that I thought, oh, hey, what the heck? Let's see them all. Like, why would we not, Like, this is it. You're my travel buddy. Let's go. No, the 10 years thing was accidental. We were up to 48, I think, even by 2009, 2010 or something.
Oh, okay. So you've been at that.
And we had, we were down to Oregon and Hawaii. And we went to Oregon 2 years ago.
Well, that was the year that you saw the redwoods.
The big trees. Oh. They literally brought tears to my eyes. It was just unbelievable.
Yeah, that was like on episode 4
yeah,
when Rob and Allie
that's
were.
That's right. Yeah,
we talked all about that.
Kitchen Table. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is a 6 for 1 or 6 for 2 podcast.
Yeah,
it was super
very
bonus.
unusual.
And last year we traveled, but it was not to any. We went to different areas, but no state that we hadn't been to, and so.
So there never really was any point where you said, we're going to do this in 10 years.
No.
That's the way it's turning out.
Yeah. I mean, the way we were traveling so much when we were first together, it was like, man, we could do this in 4 years. But it just, different years, you'd knock out like 8, 9 states, and then another year, maybe 1 or 2.
Now, have you been to Washington, D.C.?
We've been through there.
So it does count. You've driven through it.
Yeah, we drove through it. We were that was actually on the same trip that we went from North Carolina to South Carolina, because then we shot up through Virginia, and hit that D.C., and then you end up in, Maryland, and up through Wilmington, Delaware, and all that. I think the readers. I did it too. The readers. The listeners have to be asleep by now.
Well, no, they're getting the transcripts. They're definitely going to read the transcripts.
No, you would think for a history and political science person and all that, I'd be like, oh, I want to see D.C., but most of it disgusts me so much. I think the only thing I would go for is the Smithsonian.
Uh-huh.
And in that, where do you even begin, or what do you do?
Yeah. I found the Library of Congress kind of interesting.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. I think you're a reader
I don't
and
want
you
to
like
see
books.
the White House. Yeah. It would just make me too angry.
I've driven by the White House. I had no
Mm-hmm.
interest in going on the tour or anything.
No.
Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are going to go to Hawaii. You're going to have you're 50. It's going to be in the books. Mm-hmm. Any thoughts then about devoting any time for the territories like Puerto Rico, Guam, American Samoa?
I guess no, because Bill, I would have thought years ago I'd have made it to Europe, and neither one of us has ever been to Europe.
Hey, I've never been to Europe. So
really?
No.
You look like somebody who's been to Europe.
I know. I put that out. I put that out there because I want people to think of me.
Past European experiences.
I do. I try to exude that. I do. But, here's another thing. And
it'd be a hell of a double date. You guys can go to this.
This has come up on the podcast, too. And this is one that just Dave and I did. Very early one. But I've never been to New York.
Any part of the state, or you mean
any part of the state? The city, nothing. I've never been there. And it's not... Dave asked me, have you been avoiding it? No. There's plenty of reasons I've wanted to go. But it's never been convenient. And that's the way that works.
It is. That's the reality of it.
It's like there's been things where it's like, God, I would love to go. There's this show on Broadway I'm hearing such great things about. This would be one